So what does a check engine light really mean? I mean, it could be something as simple as a gas cap all the way up to thousands of dollars in repairs. So in today's episode of Next Gear Academy, we're going to try to break it down for you and help you understand when you should be worried about that check engine light and when is it okay to kind of just forget about it, right? Stay tuned and find out. In this video, we simplify the check engine light on what it could be or how serious it might be, and what steps you should take as follow. Whether you're a newbie or a seasonal driver, this guide will help you understand what's going on under your hood. In this guide, we're going to cover a few different things. Number one, why does the light turn on to begin with? Number two, the most common reason for a check engine light. Number three, how to tell if it's urgent. Number four, how to read those codes even without a technician or mechanic. And number five, tips to avoid getting ripped off at your local repair shop. All right, guys, so let's start off with explaining number one, why does the check engine light come on? So the light is actually just reading data, okay? So what happens is your computer, your ECM or your PCM is actually reading a sensor that something is wrong in the system, okay? So we're gonna talk about spark plugs. So, everyone's had a misfire, everyone's been through that, okay? So, for example, a code like P0300 or P0301, P0302, P0303, or P0304. So P0300 is multiple random cylinder misfire. P0301 means cylinder number one is misfiring. So for example, if you have a check engine light and you pull the code and it says P0301, that means cylinder one is outside of its allowed data range, okay? So if it's supposed to be within the circuit of 5 and 10, but it's reading at 11, 12, 13, or 1, 2, 3, 4, it's outside of the allowed range, okay? So it's automatically going to shoot a signal to the computer, and the computer is going to realize that there's something wrong with that system, and it's going to trigger that light. So it's going to say, hey, look, there's something wrong with cylinder number one or the related system, okay? So P0301 means something is wrong with cylinder number one. Doesn't mean specifically spark plugs, that's why you have to do testing and all that stuff. But the check engine light, all it does is read data. If the data is within the guidelines it's supposed to be in, then everything's fine. If the data is outside of the guidelines where it's supposed to be in, then the light will trigger. So I hope that simplifies on why the light comes on. It comes on because of the data is outside of its allowed range. So remember that when a check engine light turns on, it is because the data is outside of its allowed range, and you have to figure out what is causing that range to be out, okay? All right, number two, the most common reason why a check engine light comes on. So believe it or not, the most common reason is the gas cap. And the reason that is people go to put gas. So you got to think about it. The gas cap actually has a seal, okay? So every time you take that gas cap off and put it back on, the seal is wearing out. So when you go to put gas, if you ever notice, you put gas, you turn on your car, and immediately as you start to pull away, the light comes on. The first thing you should do is probably just check your gas cap. See if it's loose. You might have left it loose, and if that's the case, just tighten it up, a couple drive cycles, and it'll go away. A drive cycle is, so some cars have mileage cycles, so you have to drive X amount of miles so the computer can recognize everything's okay. Some are key cycles. You have to turn your car on and off a few times in order to get the check engine light to realize everything, or your computer to realize everything is okay. So the number one reason why that light actually comes on is because of a gas cap. The number two reason is because people will go to replace the air filter, and they'll actually leave the box either not properly sealed or completely off on its own. And then the mass airflow sensor, which is a sensor, isn't reading data correctly because the box isn't put back on well. So remember, number one, the check engine light turns on because something in the data stream is not right. So if the seal on the gas cap isn't fully tight, there's a sensor back there, and it'll recognize that there's fumes escaping, and that's where the light comes on. If the air box isn't fully put back together the way it should, then the mass airflow sensor isn't reading the correct airflow ratio to the engine as it should. Okay, so that is why it is important that anytime we do something, just double check to make sure everything's put back together. That's number two. The most common reason is a gas cap. The second is the air box not being put correctly back on. All right, guys. So number three, how to tell if it's urgent or not. So anytime your check engine light turns on, it's something you absolutely need to have looked at. Okay, so if you ever see your check engine light flashing at you, it is critical that you get to a shop immediately. Okay, so a flashing check engine light, actually, according to like the manufacturer term, is catastrophic failure. So that could really harm your engine. Okay, so if your check engine light is flashing, typically, most likely, your car is going to be driving really, really bad. So if you see a flashing check engine light, pull over immediately and just get it towed. The other way to know if it's serious or not is if your car is driving any differently. If you're hearing any kind of noise, it's probably serious at that point, that you want to get it checked out by a technician, a shop, or whoever you trust. And honestly, if that light is ever on, it's just go get it looked at. It's important no matter what. I mean, the most common reason the light is on is because of a gas cap or an airbox, right? However, the peace of mind behind it is just go get it looked at, go get it checked out, and get your issue resolved. So yeah, that's number three, guys. All right, guys. So number four, how to read the codes even without a technician. Okay. So go to the store and get yourself a little $30, $40 code reader. You can order one online on Amazon. It doesn't matter. The OBD2 connector sits usually by where your knees might be. So just look underneath there by, where all the pedals and the brakes, the accelerators are at. And you'll see that there's a port that looks identical to the one that's off of the OBD2 reader. So you just connect it in there and then you'll follow the instructions once it lights up. It's pretty straightforward and simple, okay? You're gonna go all the way to where it says read codes. You're gonna read the codes, whatever it says. It might say something like P0300, okay? Multiple cylinder misfire. P0420, catalytic converter. It might say something like that, okay? Whatever it says, just grab that code and go to ChatGPT. Enter that code into ChatGPT or Google if you don't have ChatGPT, and then just put your year, make, model of the car that you have, and then hit enter. Okay, it's gonna populate a bunch of stuff of what it could be. Okay, so that's how you pretty much read the check engine light. You can read it that way, and you can look at what all it might be. Once you've determined, like, hey, you know what, this is either outside of your comfort zone or you want to tackle it on your own, take it to your professional mechanics, technician, shop, whoever you may be, whoever you trust, and have them look at it. A lot of shops do charge diagnostic fees if you don't get the work done with them. So just be prepared for that. However, the peace of mind behind it is absolutely worth it. So if you go to a shop and they can pinpoint exactly what's wrong with your car, and if you can do it yourself, great. If you can't, just have them do it. Make sure that that light is done with by the time you are done with the vehicle. Now, I always tell people, if you had an emergency tomorrow and you had to take a car, the car that you're currently driving right now, is that the car you're going to take? If that's the car you're going to take, you want to make sure that the car is in tip-top shape and you can get from point A to point B without breaking down anywhere in between. So that is my best advice, you guys. All right, you guys, so let's go to tip number 5, which is how to avoid getting ripped off at the mechanic shop. So if you've already followed the previous steps, you should have a general idea of what's going on with your vehicle, okay? Now, whether you feel comfortable replacing it yourself or not, that's a different story. But if you're at the repair facility and you already have your check engine light codes on hand with you, you already understand what's going on with the system, right? If it's something to do with your emission system, you just got done putting gas in your car, and you feel like it might be a gas cap, and that repair facility comes back to you with, oh, you have to replace your water pump in order to get the light to go away. Well, you know that those two systems are completely different. One is emissions, and the other one is a coolant system. Okay, two different systems. So you know that they're not telling you the truth. The more you understand and know about your vehicle, the easier it is to go to a repair facility and build trust with them. There is nothing like being able to walk into a shop and say, "Hey, I'm here because my check engine light is on. I pulled the code. The code says P0300, multiple cylinder misfire. I know it has something to do with that system. However, I don't know if it's the coil, the plug, the fuel injector, or if it could be a lifter. It could be a few different things, right?" Being knowledgeable when you walk into the repair facility will make a night and day difference. It saves time with the technicians in the back. Sometimes the shop will even waive the fee for you if you already have a general idea of what's going on. Like, hey, you know what? Because you were able to minimize and give us so much information on your vehicle, it didn't take nearly as much time to figure out what's going on with your car. So we're going to go ahead and waive the $200 inspection fee for you. That right there will save you $200. So the more you know walking into the conversation, the better off you'll be, okay? So I hope all this information was helpful. If it was, please hit the like and subscribe button at the bottom. We're going to be having more videos like this to share with you guys. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers as quickly as possible, so then I can go to my next goal, which is 500, then 1,000, and just keep going from there. So I truly do appreciate you guys that are watching. Again, please hit the like and subscribe button and enjoy the rest of your day. Stay tuned for the next one.